He's a native of California, and now Cal Ripken heads for the mound to talk to his pitcher Boddicker.
Well, he's
usually when you see Ripken, it means that he's going to change pitchers.
I think you're absolutely right, Chuck.
It may not be the case at the moment, but he is going to talk to Boddicker. Ray Knight right in the middle of it. Junior is also coming back in. Kennedy is up on the mound. And this fella is ready in the bullpen if he's needed. You want to know why? Jim McKean said, I know it's your dad there. Go on up. And Knight says, go ahead. You talk to your dad. I'll get out of the way.
Well, that's an American League rule. Only one infielder on the mound at a time.
Ripken has decided he is going to let Boddicker try to work his way out of the mess against the pinch hitter, Gino Petralli.
Well, the Orioles got a big break.
Yes, they did.
Breyer went around third base. When he saw the ball get by Burleson, he started home, but Murray was there to back up Burleson, and he was dead to right.
Here's the southpaw cutting Gino. Ball one. Good save from Kennedy. He's a switch hitter, is Petralli. Hit 255 in about 170 games for the Rangers last year. Ball 2-0. There are 2 out. 1-1 tie-breaking run at third base in the person of Buechele. At the plate, the pinch batter, Gino Petralli. Boddicker's 2-0. That's a strike.
Very unusual story with Petralli. He was out of baseball, and Rangers coaxed him back into the game.
Ball. 3 balls, 1 strike. Petralli with a hitter's pitch to look for. 3-1.
Well, I certainly wouldn't give in to him with first base open in this situation. Make him hit your pitch. Throw him the pitch you want to throw him. You walk him.
You got Odeby McDowell.
You got Odeby McDowell, but you got Ossie to throw to McDowell.
He walked him.
And I think that
might be it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sitting here managing this team, but I keep forgetting I'm not the manager.
Well, I haven't seen him come out of the dugout yet.
Yeah.
Odeby McDowell is at the plate.
Well, he's thinking about it, let me tell you.
They're working the phones, I bet.
Yeah.
That's why they pay managers the money they pay them, and it's also why managers, for the most part, have gray hair. Here comes the skipper, and that's going to be it for Mike Boddicker, who has given the Orioles just an outstanding effort in the opener here at Memorial Stadium. And while the new pitcher makes his way to the mound, we'll step aside for this message. Well, this is a familiar sight. In a crucial clutch situation in the ball game, from the bullpen comes Don Ossie. And there is another change made by Ranger manager Bobby Valentine. Petralli, who just walked off Boddicker, has been replaced by Curtis Wilkerson as a runner at first base. Wilkerson is the runner. The runner at third is Buechele. There are 2 out in the inning, and Ossie is on to take on Odeby McDowell, who has accounted for the lone run of the game for the Rangers so far with a leadoff home run back in the first inning. Since that time, Boddicker got him on ground balls to Eddie Murray. And the big, strong, hard-throwing Don Ossie, who had nothing but a brilliant year for the Orioles, until, frankly, I felt Earl Weaver just overused him. He just ran him out there until Ossie could not bring with him the normal velocity and stuff that he had. I think what he missed more than anything else was his breaking ball. He couldn't throw the slider effectively.
Well, 66 appearances last year. That's were the most by him by a wide margin. That's the most he's ever pitched. And the thing he said he's going to do different this year, usually in a ball game, he's a fastball, either a slider or a curve. He did not use the combination slider and curve in one game. He just went with one of those breaking pitches. But now he says he's going to try to mix them up a little more, use both these breaking balls. The problem was in spring training this year, Chuck, if I'm not mistaken, is he had control problems. He got behind a lot of hitters.
And the pitch to McDowell, ball 1.
Tell you, win or lose, guys, this one, Mike Boddicker sure gave him a quality start. And I think, to a man, everybody you talked to in spring training maybe had some questions about the Orioles, but everybody said Mike Boddicker is going to have a big year, and it looks like it.
There's your runner, Boschel at third, and Wilkerson at first. Fly
He's
ball, he got out of the inning.
Right field. Shelby waiting, coming on. Ossie's done the job again. At the end of 7.5, the Orioles won, the Rangers won. Well, as opening day ball games go, what's the matter with this one? Alan Wiggins is going to lead off for the Orioles in the bottom of the 8th inning, and this is the Ronald McDonald House inning. Remember, each run the Orioles score this inning will mean $100 to the Baltimore Ronald McDonald House, courtesy of the Greater Baltimore Area McDonald's Restaurants and WMAR TV. It'll be a great time to come up with a big inning. Wiggins waiting the 2-0 pitch from Charlie Huff. There is a new second baseman. Curtis Wilkerson is in the game for the Rangers. 2 balls, a strike.
Got Greg Harris warming up in the bullpen for, there's Wilkerson for the Rangers. 2 strikes, 1 ball, 1-1. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Both teams had scoring chances last inning and weren't able to do it.
3 balls and a strike. Wiggins with a great eye. That pitch looked awfully good, but it apparently was tailing away from Allen.
Well, he'll get a good ball to hit right here.
3-1 pitch. 3-2. You're right, Brooks. Wiggins is not afraid to take a strike.
Well, we saw him take 3-1 today. We saw him take 3-0, 2-0. So
3-2 pitch to Wiggins.
And Huff is going to challenge him. Went right back with a fastball.
And there's an Alan Wiggins base hit to get him started in the bottom of the 8th. That's exactly what, as Brooks pointed out earlier, that's Wiggins' job, and he went right down to a full count and then got a pitch he could rip into right field. Now, with Wiggins at first base and Rick Burleson at the plate, the pressure is now on Charlie Huff and the Rangers.
Absolutely. A lot of things can happen here. Burleson can sacrifice him over. Wiggins can steal, hit and run. It's a great situation to have. There comes Bobby Valentine on the way to the mound. I've got a feeling that's going to be it for Charlie Huff.
We'll know when Valentine gets to the mound. They're waiting for him to indicate to the bullpen that, yes, he is going to change. He is not. Now he says, yep, get me the guy in the bullpen. So that'll be all. Charlie Huff then has pitched 7 innings plus a batter in the bottom of the 8th inning. And while the new pitcher makes his way to the mound, we will step out for this message. On the mound for the Rangers is Greg Harris. And Harris has had a good bit of success against the Orioles. Last year in 4 games, he pitched a total of 8 1/3 innings and did not, I say did not, give up an earned run, only 4 base hits. He made a total of 73 appearances last year, got in 73 games for the Rangers and saved 20. He also was the 2nd Ranger reliever ever to save both games of a doubleheader. The other fellow was Adrian Devine in September of '77.
He has been the Texas top reliever for the last 2 years. 20 saves, 10-8 his record last year. The fellow's ambidextrous. We might see him turn around and throw left-handed.
What pitch is Wiggins going on?
Well, I don't know if Wiggins is going to go. I think that
that's one of the reasons why I think the pitching change was made, to help nullify the speed of Wiggins at first base against the knuckleball of Huff.
That was we mentioned before.
They're not happy with the positioning of the right fielder, Sierra. They're moving him just a little bit.
Plenty of options right here. Let's see how the Orioles play it.
Is he going to bunt him over?
I think I'd try to get him over, sure. Just need 1 run and we'll be on our way.
Okay, that would be a start, Brooks, yes.
Started to say it'd be money in the bank, but I'm not too sure.
Take your chances with Ripken and Murray, though.
Oh, you bet. Cal Ripken on deck, Murray to follow. Bullpen still active down there with the Texas. Mitch Williams, Anderson throwing.
Well, he's paid a lot more attention to the base runner Wiggins, and I guess that's not a bad idea, than he has to the hitter Burleson.
Got a little room over Bouchel's head if he bounces one down there.
The bunt is on. There's just a great looking bunt. No play at second base. The sacrifice to send Wiggins into second. Burleson with a picture perfect sac bunt.
Well, that is the thing to do in this situation late in the game with your best 2 hitters coming up, Ripken, Murray. You got to give them a chance. You'll see Burleson, perfect bunt, perfect spot. Harris makes the play, fires to first base. The go-ahead run at second.
Those are the plays, guys, that don't show up in the box score, but they win a lot of games for you.
That also is one of the main themes of Cal Ripken's spring training, execution. Now, with a runner at second base, here is Cal Ripken Jr. 3 ground balls, 1 to the mound, 2 to the shortstop against the knuckleballing Huff.
He's glad to see Huff out of there, I think.
If I were anyone in the Oriole uniform, I'd be glad to see Huff leave. But there were very solid reasons why Valentine wanted to make that change. Curveball, good pitch.
Yes, it was a good pitch. Great breaking ball to start him off with.
Boy, that one, as they say, bounced off the side of a building. That ball just was digging down. 1 strike to Ripken. Center field, waiting out there is Odeby McDowell. Oh, Wiggins is going to challenge him, and down to third base he goes. Well, that's what the skipper said.
It was not even close. That really is a play that Odeby ought to make it much closer. But it was a bad throw, off the mark, did not have a lot on it, and it could have been because of the turf being very wet in the outfield. You'll see Odeby, maybe Wiggins.
I thought he was just trying to draw a throw.
Well, that's what I thought. No.
Center field.
Well, that tape was going a little faster than Wiggins was going, to tell you the truth, folks. But that was alert, aggressive base running on the part of Wiggins.
Well, it's much better to be at third than it is at second. You can score on a wild pitch. You can score on an error. You can score a number of ways that you could not from second.
You can also steal it.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? A little steal a home.
Boy, I'll tell you, that'd send people to the record book trying to find out the last time an Oriole stole home.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you ever tried to do that and didn't make it with Murray hitting,
you better believe.
Got to give Murray a shot to drive him in.
Yep. And I'm sure that that's exactly what will happen.
Red Lynn to follow Murray. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1 tie, 2 away. Go-ahead run at third.
Well, Murray looked as though he's just going to try to maybe drag the ball or punch it down the third base side, because Buechele, the third baseman, is extremely wide of the bag in the area you refer to as the hole between short and third. Murray thought, if I get something a little over the plate, I'm just going to slap at it, see if I can knock it over the bag.
Well, I tell you,
now, you'll see with the third baseman. See how far away from the bag?
He'll probably be jumping off the ground to swing at this one.
2-0 to Murray.
Unbutton your shirt. Foul ball.
Well, he kept it in his kitchen. He kept it right in on Eddie. 2 balls, 1 strike to Murray.
Interesting, Brooks, when he got behind on the count, I noticed Fletcher, who had been playing right over second base, started shading over to the right side. I guess with Eddie ahead on the count, played him to pull a little more.
They've got him around on the first base side again with 3 men between first and second. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, this for an opening day ball game has turned into a heck of a game.
Shulak missed a good one, didn't he?
Gee, I'll say he did. And he's coming out of Florida.
Shulak was the umpire who was not able to make it today, if you're wondering who we're talking about. He was delayed because of
2-2 to Murray.
Weather.
Got a piece of it. I must say, Harris came right down the street with a pretty good fastball. Kept it up and away from Eddie, and Eddie could not afford to look at it. We're in the Ronald McDonald House inning, and we want to remind you that if the Orioles score any runs in this inning, every one will be worth $100 to the Baltimore Ronald McDonald House, courtesy of the Greater Baltimore Area McDonald Restaurant from WMAR. 2-2 to Murray. Out of play. Allen has moved along from third base, covering a good little bit of real estate. Brooks, I'm not too sure. Eddie, that kind of a swing looked a little different than most of them. I'm not too sure whether he was figuring I'll take a shot at the third base side. The bat just got away from him.
Yeah, you're right. It looked like the ball. He's looking. To me, he looked like he's looking for the ball on the inside half, and he had a little strange swing.
Now the 2-2 to Murray.
Tried to pull it.
Breaking ball, left field side, third base side, coming on Buechele. The third baseman is. Look out! He's, I think, made the catch if he holds on.
He's got it, too. What a play by Steve Buechele. What a play.
I see him, the umpire over there, to look in, and they're trying to determine that he's got the ball.
Rangers bench is empty. They're all over to check on him. He
comes out with a kind of he's got the ball. He's fine. He's just made a heck of just a tremendous play to take the Orioles out of the 8th inning at the end of 8 complete. It's the Rangers won, the Orioles won. We'll show you again the kind of a play the gamers make. Watch Buechel's effort on the foul pop off the bat of Eddie Murray. He's got into the railing, slides down behind the tarp, into the seats, and held on to the ball.
That'll make some highlight reels.
Oh, I would think so. Here is Scott Fletcher with a line drive right field. Shelby!
Got it!
He's got it!
Solak!
Oh, my goodness, what a play by Shelby.
Had him played just right. Line drive, right field. Shelby comes in, dives for the ball, and picks it right off the ground. It had base hit written all over it. Here's Shelby coming in.
Well, this again verifies and substantiates Mr. Ripken's theories that we think we have enough offense, but we've got to play defense. And that's an example of the kind of defense that Shelby and Gerhardt are responsible for. They can handle that. Now Pete O'Brien, 0 for 3 this afternoon, and an excellent play by Burleson kept him that way in the 4th inning. Ball 1 from Don Ossie. Boddicker went the first 7 2/3, 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a run on the home run of Oda B. McDowell.
I wouldn't want
outstanding effort.
I wouldn't want the next ball hit to me, Chuck, after those 2 defensive plays.
That's for sure. 2 balls, no strikes. Buechel made it. That will make all of the highlight reels for sure. Ossie now has got to come 2-0 to Pete O'Brien. He likes this kind of stuff. He misses 3-0. Ossie did have control trouble in spring training.
It's a good spot for O'Brien to be swinging the bat. 3-0.
Well, 3-0, and he fouled it out of play. Ossie in spring training, 9 innings, and he walked 8, which is not typical of Don Ossie.
Well, it's not typical, but the thing is, he got behind a lot of guys, just like he's 3-1 right here. That was the thing where he got hurt.
Ball 4, a 1-out walk to O'Brien will bring up Incaviglia. For Ossie, his first walk. Incaviglia has hit into a double play, struck out, and grounded to short. And right now, if Ossie had his choice, he would rather have him hit into the double play.
Incaviglia has hit 2 balls right on the nose today. One was a double play. The other was a 1-hopper to the shortstop Ripken, who fired him out.
Well, Milwaukee leads Boston 5-0 in the top of the 7th in Milwaukee. The White Sox 4-2 over the Royals. They're on the top of the 7th inning. Oh, what a bullet through the middle. And the Rangers have runners at first and second. Incaviglia really smoked that ball into center field. That's about as hard as you can hit the ball.
Absolutely. And, you know,
he was right on it.
You look at Incaviglia, you have to say that he was a surprise of last year. Yeah, it was a slider.
A little slider that kind of hung somewhat.
I think he's got a chance to hit 50 home runs one year. That's what I think of Pete Incaviglia.
Hey, Brooks, the Yankees and the Tigers are in the top of the 10th. Rigetti against Morris, a 1-1 tie.
There's a Williamson warming up for the Orioles. 1-1 tie. Jack Morris has gone the route.
Ruben Sierra. And would this be the spot for a left-hander in the Oriole bullpen? Tippy Martinez still on the disabled list. The heater out of the strike zone, and a strike 1 to Ruben Sierra. But I'll tell you what, when those hitters see that fastball, it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. They are going to make some kind of a move.
If you're hitting off Ossie, you know it's going to be hard no matter what it is. Fastball, slider, breaking ball. So you're geared for something hard.
Out of play, and Ossie has him down in the count, 0-2.
And both those balls were out of the strike zone. field straight away. There's the runners. Cavilla at first base. O'Brien at second base. The go-ahead run. We're 1-1 in the top of the 9th.
Let's watch Ossie's 2-strike pitch. Also out of the strike zone. He got a piece of it. This is in among the spectators. Better than 51,000 this afternoon.
White Sox leading Kansas City 5-2. That game's in the 7th. Dotson against Jackson for Kansas City. Bob Stanley starting for the Red Sox.
You know their pitching's a little short, right? When he's opening day.
Yep.
Crawford's in there now. Now the 2-strike pitch to Ruben Sierra. Burleson. 1. Boom! Oh, what a double play to get Ossie and the Orioles off the hook. At the end of it, 8.5, it's the Orioles 1 and the Rangers 1. Well, some of the happy baseball fans in the ballpark this afternoon, I don't know whether they're Ranger or Oriole fans, but they're baseball fans. And this is the opening of the 1987 campaign, and the weather gave the Orioles a break. As you take a look at the totals on the board, the Rangers a run on 6 hits and an error, and the Orioles 1 on 4. And in the bottom of the 9th inning, Fred Lynn, Ray Knight, Terry Kennedy are due against Greg Harris, who has relieved the starter Charlie Huff. Pitched about as both Boddicker and Huff pitched as well as you need to pitch to win a ball game, but well, Boddicker was so good he kind of nullified the Rangers, and Huff was so good he nullified the Orioles.
Pitching and defense, that was the Oriole way, Brooks. We've seen some of it today.
Well, we sure have. There's been very few opportunities for both teams to score.
Well, here is Freddie Lynn looking at Harris for the first time. Now Lynn doubled, stole a base, and scored the first run for the Orioles in the 2nd inning. Hit into a force in the 4th inning. Reached on O'Brien's error in the 7th inning of a hard hit ball that took a kind of a weird hop. Ball 1 to Lynn. Last of the 9th inning. Ooh. 1-1. Harris to Lynn. Got a piece of it, a ball, 2 strikes. Behind Fred Lynn, Ray Knight. A game that has been replete with thrills. In clutch situations, outstanding defense and pitching. He tried to stop the swing and couldn't get it done, and Lynn is a strikeout victim. That for Harris is first.
We've seen an outstanding breaking ball from Harris. Started Ripken off on one last inning, and then he gets a strike 3 on a quick breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. Brings up Ray Knight, who had a little conversation with Lynn on the way back to the dugout. This might be the first time that these two fellas ever face one another.
Yep. Pitch tonight. Breaking ball, strike. Gotta like Mr. Harris. He's got
anytime
a
you can throw that
breaking ball.
Yeah, you can throw that breaking ball the first pitch and get it over for a strike. You're in business.
I don't blame you, Ray. You're not too sure what the fellow is capable of, and a place like capable of. The place to be in a pitch like that is someplace else. He bailed out.
If you're a hitter, one of the secrets to hitting is knowing what pitchers throw, where they throw it from. But if you've never seen someone, the pitcher definitely has an advantage. And if you're a hitter, you just go on instinct more than anything else. You just look for the ball and react to it.
Now the 1-1.
Popped him up
out of play.
Out of play.
Now, I don't think Buechele will get that one, but well, he contributed one of the stellar defensive plays to any opening game or any ball game this afternoon when he came down with a pop-up off the bat of Murray to end the Orioles' 8th inning with Wiggins at 3rd and 2 out. 1-2 tonight. See if he can do that breaking ball again. No. The weather has been surprisingly good for a day that started off so poorly. For those of you in the other areas, it was a terrible morning here in Baltimore. Foul ball. on the face of Ray Knight. He is an extremely competitive player, and the kind of a fellow that scouts will talk to you about and say he's a hard-nosed player. He's very competitive.
One for 3 on the day.
Right field, is it going to drop? It is going to drop in for the base hit. Ray Knight with a 1-out single, his second hit of the afternoon. And the batter now is Terry Kennedy.
I think we're going to have a pinch runner right here. I see Cal Ripken. There you see what Knight just hits the ball. That ball was a borderline strike on the outside part of the plate. Went right after it. Hits the ball all around. Got a conference on the mound, but I've also, let's see, we got a pinch runner now going in. Looks like Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, and he will play third base for Ray Knight. He's wearing number 88, the highest number in the majors at this moment. And Ray Knight encourages him as he goes back to the dugout. And I'll tell you, they're on their feet for Ray Knight, and why not? Knight not only has contributed 2 hits with his bat, but defensively he started a double play to get the Orioles out of trouble in the first inning. Started another one to get them out of trouble in the 5th inning.
There's your 2 relievers, Williams and Anderson.
And Rene Gonzalez is the pinch runner.
They call him Gonzo, and now they're calling him Crazy Eights with number 88 on his back.
That's right, yeah.
He's a good kid.
He really is a very likable young person from the Lone Star state of Texas.
Used to be an usher at Dodger Stadium for a while. He says never seen an open.
Whoop! The ball gets by, and Gonzalez is flying. Is he going to go to third? Yeah, he's trying. Here comes the throw. Gonzalez is going to be safe at third base.
He's not exactly Alan Wiggins, but he got there.
He's like the fellow sitting on the other side of you. Every now and then it runs into a hill, doesn't he? Huh?
Harris tried to get a little cute with this pickoff throw.
Bad throw. Didn't give O'Brien a chance.
Oh, not at all. He tried to make an unusual quick throw to first base. Here comes Gonzalez. He knows it's going to be close. He's hitting the dirt.
Please let me get it. You better believe it.
Now, Bob Valentine's on the way to the mound to have a talk.
Here comes a left-hander, I bet.
I bet you so, too. It's going to be Mitch Williams. Hard-throwing left-hander. Anderson, an underarming sinker baller. But like you say, you'd bet on Williams coming out of that bullpen.
Harris is hot. He was pitching well, and he throws one away, and there's a winning run on third base.
Valentine might want to stay right with him.
Okay.
That's exactly the story. He says, hey, you got yourself in this mess. I think you deserve the chance to pitch your way out of it. We talked about the competitiveness of Ray Knight. It isn't that he's that much more competitive than other players. They all have to be competitive, you well know. But it just shows on him a little bit more. He's a little more demonstrative. The intentional walk to Terry Kennedy.
John Shelby on deck. To be followed by Gerhardt.
By Jim Dwyer time, I guess.
We'll see.
We'll see. These two men, Shelby and Gerhardt, had the chance to break the tie for the Orioles with the bases loaded, 1 out on the 7th inning, and Charlie Huff was just so good he struck them both out. Now Shelby is going back in the dugout.
Here it comes.
And here comes Jim Dwyer.
And now Valentine has to make up his mind whether it's going to be Harris or Williams.
Boy, this is the great game of baseball, and I mean to tell you, it is just an absolutely great game. You can hear those thoughts bouncing off the walls in both dugouts. Is he getting Dwyer to force a change? Will he go with Harris? Is he going to get the left-hander in for Dwyer?
Will Ripken come back with Lacey if he does bring in the left-hander?
Absolutely right. There you go. All of these things are they're going to walk Dwyer to load the bases.
Yep.
The intentional walk is being issued to pinch batter Jim Dwyer to load the bases. And bring up Gerhardt as the due batter with the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 9th.
I don't think we're going to see Gerhardt either.
Well, we'll know in a moment. He is the due batter. And he is looking over his shoulder toward that dugout.
Sheets picked up a
That's
bat,
right.
so he's swinging. He's going back. And after that move is made, it might be Williams.
It could be. Here comes Larry Sheets for Gerhardt.
The only reason we might not see Williams in this situation is because he does have a tendency to get wild. It looks like Valentine is going to go right with Harris to face Larry Sheets.
I believe all Rip has left, Chuck, is Rayford and Lacey after Sheets.
Well, here is Larry Sheets, used rather sparingly in spring training. Didn't hit very well at all. But he didn't have that many at-bats either. 34 as opposed to 77, 88, and 78, 70 by a lot of the other people. But again, the skipper, Cal Ripken, knows what Sheets can do, and he had to look at a lot of other people. Well, here it is. Bases loaded, 1 out. Sheets against Greg Harris. Boy, they're on their feet in this ballpark. It's just been an unusually good opening day ball game.
Outfield for the Texas Rangers are way in. They have to get in close enough to be able to throw someone out. A long fly ball going to be over their head. They're all up right behind the infield. And you'll take a look at it there. Very shallow. You tell yourself, can I throw him out from this distance?
Larry wants to drive the ball somewhere in the air. Just hit it hard through the infielder. Ball, the hold on foul tip. Out at second base, Terry Kennedy hollering encouragement into Larry Sheets. With a gesture of the arm, get around on the ball. Get around on the ball. Now the 1-1 to Larry. Ball 3, and there's no room at the end. Ball 2, let's make that 2 balls, 1 strike. And he's given him nothing but breaking balls down and trying to get Larry to hit, the ball on the ground. Now the 2-1 pitch. There's a strike. 1 out in the inning. Bases loaded. Bottom of the 9th. A 1-1 nail biter. And the 2-2 to the pinch batter, Sheets. Out of play. He did have somewhat better pitch to hit that time and couldn't quite get a hold of it. Gonzalez at third, Kennedy at second, Wire at first. He's got it, but it's a foul ball. It is a foul ball.
That would have sent him home smiling.
Oh, you know it would have. And the biggest smile would have been all over the face of Larry Sheets. Well, the Orioles had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 7th inning. Could not move anybody. 1 out, the bases are loaded at the bottom of the 9th. Larry Sheets battling Greg Harris with a count 2-2. Nope. He held back, and that fills the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Those are your runners. Wire at first. Kennedy stepping off second base. Gonzalez at third. And listen to this crowd. They're on their feet. Everybody up. And the payoff pitch to Sheets. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Tagging up is Gonzalez.
No way. The game is over.
He's going to make the throw, but there's nothing he can do about it. And the Orioles have won it. The sac fly knocks in the winning run, and everybody out of the dugout around Larry Sheets, and Gonzalez, who scores the winner for the Orioles. That's it. The beautiful birds of 33rd Street win the opener 2-1. Back with a recap for you right after this message. Well, you see a lot of empty seats now. Everybody is going to a party to celebrate Cal Ripken Sr.'s very first victory as the manager of the Orioles. The Orioles were wiped out in the bases loaded, one-out situation back in the 7th inning and managed to get it here in the bottom of the ninth. I guess one of the most pleasing, satisfying victories on opening day the Orioles have enjoyed in some time. A lot of interesting things. Here's Larry Sheets. The ball hit well enough. There's no way they can get Gonzalez. And then Jim Dwyer, the runner going down to second base after tagging up, stopped and tried to get the Rangers to get him into a rundown. They were trying to get him before the run crossed the plate. Dwyer said, "No, sir, not this old pit dog. I've seen that play before." And he got himself into a rundown. Gonzalez scored without any trouble, and boy, what a great way for Rip Sr. to start 1987.
Yes, it was. This ball game had a little of everything. Boddicker, the first batter he faced, Otomy McDowell, hit a home run to give the Rangers a 1-0 lead. The next guy single, which was Fletcher. After that, he tightened his belt, pitched a great ball game. And Charlie Huff, what can you say about him? He pitched outstanding baseball. There were some great plays. The Orioles made the plays. The Rangers ended up throwing the ball away on a pickoff play to let Gonzalez go to third base. Then they loaded the bases on intentional walks, and the Orioles finally won it on Larry Sheets' sacrifice fly. 2-1. You can't ask for any better ball game than that, Chuck.
I would just, there were so many things that you can talk about for such a long time, offensively and defensively. And one of the things that I think the Oriole pitchers, Don Ossie and Mike Boddicker, will talk about was, how about those double plays? Two started by Ray Knight at third base, and one very difficult double play started by Rick Burleson at second base. That's what makes a pitching staff a good deal more effective.
Well, I tell you, psychologically, it's got to really help our staff. You know, we don't have many pitchers that can go up there and strike guys out. We have guys who are, the other team is going to hit the ball. When you talk about McGregor and Boddicker and Flanagan, we have to make the plays behind them. John Shelby, although he did not distinguish himself at the bat, made a great play in right field to save a base hit late in this ball game with a diving catch. So it really helps our pitching staff to have double plays made. And the things that happened today, there were some positive things. But overall, it was Charlie Huff and Boddicker, and then Ossie comes in and gets the win. We saw that a few times last year.
Scott?
I think, Chuck, one of the things the fans came out to see were those new Orioles. And you mentioned Ray Knight. He started two double plays. We saw a lot of emotion out of him. He had the base hit that led to the winning run there in the 9th inning. Had 2 hits this afternoon. Rick Burleson did it with his glove today. He did it with a key sacrifice bunt that helped the Orioles out. And I think Terry Kennedy, we saw a lot of him this spring. He had a couple of walks today. But I think these three are really going to do a lot on the field and off the field. They've been around the game. All three of them are winners. They played in World Series and playoff games. And I think their leadership role and the way they go about their job is going to help the younger Orioles to show them what it takes to get to the top again. And the continued effort and the push from Cal, I think this might be an interesting club. They're going to play with a lot more emotion. I think we saw that today.
We've talked about this before, but for some of you who may have not seen all of the telecast, just the last half of it, the Orioles manufactured a run to tie the ball game in the 2nd inning. Fred Lynn hit a line drive base hit over the head of the first baseman down on the right field side, and the quick Ruben Sierra got to the ball. Lynn challenged him. He said, "I'm going to make him throw me out." Wet outfield, an advantage for Lynn. Wet ball, another advantage for Lynn. He's moved into second base, so it's a double. Ray Knight at the plate, and what happens? He steals third base. Steals third base, does Lynn. And then Knight strikes out against the knuckleball. The pass ball gets away from the catcher's slot, and here comes the tie run for the Orioles. That's what manager Ripken and his coaches hope this team will be able to do, along with a couple of those favorite weapons, the 3-run home run. Has to be a satisfying win for Oriole fans.
Absolutely. And Frank Robinson told us yesterday. He said two key things about this club. Fast start. 2 words.
Right.
Get out of the gate, build the confidence, let them know that they can contend again. And a lot of good signs today. Even Don Ossie, you know, he had a great year last year, got burned out, as you mentioned, Chuck, a little late in the year, and it was a little wild this spring. He comes in, does the job today, and he looks like he's right on track.
I really think the point that Brooks has made is probably the most valid point of the afternoon, that the way the Orioles played defensively on the field this afternoon has got to be an encouraging sign to the Orioles pitching staff.
Well, I feel that way. I know that, you know, reading some of the comments, I'm not trying to make an excuse for our pitching staff because they did not pitch well. But, you know, when you have a double play ball and they need to get out of the inning and you don't make the double play, if you keep giving teams 4 outs, you just cannot win. And then the point that you made, Chuck, about just the overall things that the Orioles did today, I saw a lot of good signs.
I really did. And defensively, everybody did what was necessary. And Alan Wiggins, who has been nominated to be the Oriole designated hitter and leadoff batter, he is by far the best leadoff hitter the Orioles have had. Brooks, I don't know how far back. Go back to Buford? Would you have to go back that far?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I think that, you know, Buford, to me, had always been the best Orioles leadoff hitter.
Bumbry would be another one of the good ones, yes.
Yeah. But Buford, the thing that made Buford such a good leadoff hitter, Chuck, is the power. That's right. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. But we saw Wiggins today, and that's what you have to be if you're a leadoff man. You have to have a little patience. You can't be afraid to take 3-1 or 2-0. You have to get on that base. You have to be the one who sets the tempo of the game. You have to get on for the Ripkins and Murrays. And that's what Wiggins' job is, and he's very ably done that today.
I'd like to tip the hat to Larry Sheets also. Here's a guy who this spring was really kind of put in the background, and Larry really wasn't sure why. He's produced the last couple of years.
To emphasize that point, Scott, in the introduction of the players today, one Oriole was overlooked. Do you know which one? Larry Sheets.
Yep.
We're not going to forget about him tomorrow, I'll tell you, because he came off the bench cold and, you know, really delivered there with the fly ball.
That's exactly right. I tell you, I have to tip my hat to someone who can sit there 9 innings and this weather, and all of a sudden you call upon the pinch hit, and you come up there and you battle him and fight him, and all of a sudden you get the ball you want. Went down to 3-2, and he got the ball up a little, and he drove it to center field, and the winning run scored.
Well, we saw good pitching, we saw good defense, we saw some timely hitting, we saw alert and aggressive base running. Just about everything a baseball fan could ask for occurred here this afternoon as the Orioles take the first game of the 1987 season by a score of 2-1 over the Texas Rangers. Now, your nearby Nissan dealers donate $100 per Oriole broadcast to the favorite charity of the Nissan Player of the Game, and Brooks just said I have to take my hat off to Larry Sheets. All of us up here in the booth feel that way about it. Today's player is going to be Larry Sheets, and a $100 donation from your nearby Nissan dealers will go to Maryland Special Olympics in the name of Larry Sheets. And that's the swing that got the Orioles' winning run home. The Orioles will not be in activity again until a day off tomorrow, and boy, what a day off that'll be. Everybody will be able to sit back and relax, and you know, you got that big shadow that's been sitting over the top of the Orioles for the last couple of years. You made a little dent in it today because the Orioles have not played like the Orioles are expected to play, you know, since '83 or a little bit later. It's been downhill a little bit every year. Well, had they lost this afternoon's game, it still was a very, very good effort on the part of the Orioles. It was just a well-played, good effort. You know, when you consider pitching, you consider defense, you consider base running. Everything the Orioles had to do, they did in typical Oriole fashion this afternoon, and won the ball game was a big plus. You know,
a point you made, Chuck, that I think is very important. I think it is important for the Orioles to get off to a good start. You look back at every team that's won over the past years, they've gotten out of the box. They've started winning games early, and that's kind of carried over for the whole year.
Of course, you know, I thought Detroit carried it to extremes, 35-5, but come to think of it, it's a very appealing idea, and I think Oriole fans would say, hey, that'd be a great idea. Let's go 35-5.
Before we get out of here, guys, we got a big fight tonight out in Las Vegas. I know Brooks is going to take a look at it now. I want to hear your picks.
Oh, you want to
put you on the hook? Come on.
Well, I think that Hagler's going to win.
How?
I think that Hagler's going to knock him out.
Okay, fine.
In the 8th round.
Chuck?
You mean it'll be a knockout, not a TKO where they stop the fight?
Knockout in the 8th round with 1 minute left to go.
I don't think it'll take that long, but I think it'll be more a technical knockout than it would be.
I don't know a thing about fighting. I've never even been right in these ball games. So,
Come on, Brooks.
Well, we all agree on Hagler's the winner anyway.
Well, I just hope the Orioles and all of the Oriole fans are as happy on Wednesday night as they are here on Monday night. And the weatherman cooperated. As a matter of fact, I see a little patch of blue every now and again, and we have had enough of that terrible weather. It's time to enjoy springtime, because springtime means the Orioles. And we're here again on Wednesday afternoon against the Rangers, and then a night game comes up on Thursday night here at the stadium. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to come on out and catch up with the Orioles of 1987. Well, that's it from Memorial Stadium. A reminder to join us Friday. Let me give you the totals before I do that. Some people like to hear that. It's 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, 8 left for the Orioles, and 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors, the second being a very costly error, and 4 men left on for the Rangers. Ossie is the winner, and the loser, of course, is Greg Harris. And that's it from Memorial Stadium. Reminder to join us Friday, April the 10th at 4:30 when the Orioles meet the Cleveland Indians on many of these network stations. Until then, Chuck Thompson for Scott Garceau and Brooks Robinson and the entire WMAR sports team wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon. Again, the final score, a real nail-biter, but a dandy. The Orioles 2 and the Rangers 1.
Baseball 1987 has been brought to you in part by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. By Nissan, who invites you to test drive the Go Anywhere Pathfinder, named Best 4x4 of the Year. By C&P Telephone Yellow Pages, we wrote the book. By Jerry Chevrolet, experience the difference in savings. By Mr. Tire Computer Auto Centers, the best tires in the world. By